The Plumbing Marketing Profits Podcast. Interviews with $1 million plus plumbing and HVAC business owners on how they market and grow their companies in today's economy. Hear directly from the most successful leaders in your business and discover what they are doing to keep their phone ringing, trucks running, and businesses booming. With your host, Josh Nelson.
Well, hey, this is Josh Nelson with the Plumbing and HVAC Marketing Profits Show. Really want to thank you for joining us on this episode, doing something a little bit different and a little bit special today. We're on location at the Merdian Company in Lansing, Michigan, and I have the distinct privilege of being here with Craig Phillipich. Craig?
How you doing, Josh? Yeah, thanks.
And so, Merdian Company, I spent the day today at their office, touring the facility, shooting some pictures and some videos, and it's a world-class operation. Very special what you've built here.
Thank you.
And I'll just kind of let Craig tell us a little bit about his background. So tell us kind of like how you got into the business, some demographics in terms of size of the operation, all of that fun stuff.
Well, we started in 1984 as a plumbing-only company serving Greater Lansing. And in the last 34 years, we've added HVAC to our scope of services. We do kitchen and bathroom remodel. And in 2018, we're going to be adding an electrical division. So we're pretty much trying to be the total home service provider here in Greater Lansing. We've got about 30 employees and run about 12 trucks a day.
12 trucks a day.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. And approximate revenue for the operation?
This year we'll exceed $5 million in sales.
Beautiful. So you're hearing from a true world-class operation that's running a very, very successful company. It's really an honor to hear from you. So before we get into the marketing stuff, tell us about you personally. Like, how did you get into this business? Kind of what's your background?
Well, I'm a third-generation plumber by trade. When the founders started this company, I worked here throughout high school and throughout college. Got my master's license, I don't know, a couple decades ago, it seems like now. And just been embedded in the family business since the late 80s. So it's kind of a labor of love, and is what we do.
Fun. Being the family business is going on 22 years, something like that?
34, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we started in 84.
Unbelievable. So really, this show is all about marketing, right? It's about how you generate leads, how you keep your trucks running. And I always like to start the whole conversation around marketing in terms of the market, message, media triangle, right? Mm-hmm. You have to be clear on who your customer is, so that you can craft a message that resonates with that customer, and then you can go out and do all the media stuff, right? The TV ads and the internet marketing and all of the other fun stuff. So start with just kind of breaking down for us, how do you define your ideal target market, like who you serve?
Well, the balance of our business is set up, we're about an 80% residential, single-family residential service provider. The other 20% we do light commercial work, service only. We don't do new construction. It's pretty much existing homes, service and remodel. Mm-hmm. And we typically target the busy family, the family that doesn't have time to be encumbered by home service emergencies. You wake up, you don't have heat. You wake up, you don't have hot water. You get home from work and your AC doesn't work. We're the 911. You call Merdian, we're there. We have what it takes to fix the job, fix it then. So you can get on with life. People just don't have time for those comforts to be taken away and to be inconvenienced by that. So
absolutely,
that's where we come in.
So just taking away their problems, making it easy, kind of doing that. So with that understanding of your market, what's your message? Like, so how do you go to that market and say, hey, here's why Merdian versus the competition? Like, what's your unique positioning, as they say?
Well, to be diversified, to be the total home service provider. When you have an emergency or health emergency, you go to the hospital. You don't want to go to this hospital for this hospital for something else. So if you have a heating emergency, you call Merdian. If you have a plumbing emergency, you call Merdian. It's a business model that's taken a lot of effort and hard work to get there.
Sure.
But we're the one-stop shop. We want to own the home. Gillette Razor has a unique selling proposition. They own the face.
Yeah.
At Merdian, we want to own the home.
I love that parallel. That's really awesome. So, kind of going off the track here a little bit, tell us about some of the challenges in making that jump, because I know there are certain companies that just do plumbing or they just do HVAC, and some have kind of stubbed their toes, like, okay, we want to do it all, and they've kind of slipped into the jack of all trades, master of none issue. How did you get through that, and so what were some of the struggles?
Slow and controlled growth. You got to have the right people. We like a lot of companies, we struggled at times getting the right people on board.
Sure.
But when you build a championship team, you've got to have the right coaching, the right training, the right infrastructure. Because in the end, it's about, is that customer happy with your service?
Right.
You can't be good at one thing and not
Average or poor
or par at something else. I mean, you really have to deliver 5-star services in all the things that we offer. So it's just perpetual training and effort, and it definitely takes a village to run this company.
Right.
So
yeah, and that's one thing I'll say, just being here at the operation, great quality people and good leaders in various departments in the company. You've got key people that know exactly how to own their piece of the business, and I think that's really probably one of the reasons you've been able to make that jump so successfully.
Yeah.
Excellent. So now we get to talk about the fun stuff, the stuff that everybody likes to talk about, right? The media. So just obviously you've got a really successful company, you've got a diverse marketing mix. Kind of talk to us a little bit about the things you do to gain exposure and to market the company.
Well, it's a lot of things. It's a pretty good mix. We sit down annually, put together a marketing budget based on last year's sales and based on what our budget was the previous year.
Percentage-wise, what is that for you guys, if you're willing to share?
7 to 10 is kind of an industry average. We probably hover closer to the 7% of sales in terms of what our spend is.
Excellent.
We work with a marketing team locally in the Lansing area here that does our media buying for us. And they kind of help guide us and coach us in terms of where we might allocate some of our budget. So we do the lion's share of our marketing is with you guys and with television.
Okay.
I would say the rest of the budget is probably split up between some direct mail. We do some Yellow Pages stuff, some billboards, but it's really you have to have a comprehensive mix so that you're touching people wherever they're at in the market, whether it's they're on their phone in the morning or they're on their commute to work. To build that strong brand, you can't just mail postcards.
Right.
So
So I mean, we're talking a little bit of direct mail, Valpak, I think you mentioned.
Yep.
Yellow Page ads, still active?
Still active and still a pretty good ROI, believe it or not. We do track that. We track dollars per month that those tracking numbers generate, and Yellow Pages is still a part of our business. So
yeah, and this is something we were talking about over lunch. Being an internet marketing company, everyone assumes that I'm anti-Yellow Pages. And what I like to say is, look, if you've got the tracking in place and you can spend $1 and get $3 in return, and that's happening on a consistent basis, there'd be no reason to pull it. So if you're big in Yellow Pages and you've got the right tracking in place, just measure until it stops returning.
Yeah, when we're spending 1/5 of what we used to spend in Yellow Pages. I mean, there's no doubt that it's watered down, but that presence is still there. There's still a demographic that goes to that book that maybe doesn't sit in front of a computer all day, and we definitely get calls from it. So,
Yellow Pages. You have this media buying company, and you said you're doing some radio, maybe not as much radio, but some TV and billboards.
Yeah, so we've worked with another a Nexstar member colleague of ours, Swick Media. They came in, did an on-site.
Some really nice videos.
Shot some commercials for us. That's those images and commercials that they shot have segued into some of the shots they took. We've used for billboards. We've used it for vehicle wraps. So it's a common theme, a common thread. When you see our billboard, it matches our truck wraps. It matches what you see on TV. Matches what you guys put on our website. That builds that brand.
Yep. Yeah. Public relations. Any specific public relations effort from the company?
Yeah, we've tried a lot of things over the years. Active in the community. Charitable donations, active members with the Home Builders Association, Associated Builders and Contractors, network groups like that. We sit in on local groups like the MABA Association. There's a couple other ones that escape me right now, but yeah, we're actively involved in a lot of that business-to-business networking, as well as just some community organizations that are around. So
Excellent. And so that's just goodwill in the local area.
yeah.
You mentioned internet. You said, "Oh, you guys do that." So for those that are listening that might not know, talk to us a little bit about the internet marketing strategy.
Where do I begin? It's not our expertise, so you find the right company to build a website, to increase your online visibility, to manage your Google AdWords campaign, and that's part of the reason we had you here today was you guys have done such a good job for us. We wanted to have you come and touch and feel Lansing to say, how do we take it to that next level now? I'll share your sentiment. It's been a great day, going through the stuff we've covered. The bar graphs will show that since working with you the last 13 months, our internet visibility, those optics, it's working, and it's converting leads, it's generating leads, and it's converts into dollars and cents.
Fantastic. I appreciate that. That
plug.
Endorsement. So SEO, pay-per-click, social media marketing. Are you involved in any lead buying services? Like, do you buy from Home Advisor or eLocal Plumber, some of these types of?
We do, but it's with mixed results. It's we do track that stuff. The ROI seems to not necessarily be there yet. The quality of the leads isn't there yet, but it's kind of like when the internet got started. It was, when do you jump in?
Right.
And so we're sort of cavalier in a lot of things we do around here. We're sampling and sticking with some of these online lead generating venues, because 5 to 10 years from now, they're probably going to be much more viable.
Right.
They're still new. There's still the millennial generation that's kind of tapping into that, but someday they're going to be middle-aged and approaching retirement, and so that's probably the avenue that they're going to use. We want to be visible. So
where they're at.
We're going to gain that presence now and be there when the right time comes.
So you feel like you're playing that game, but it's not a slam dunk or a home run for you necessarily.
Not at this time, but definitely something we're not just going to poo-poo.
Now, one of the things you mentioned was, and I think it's good for our audience to hear, because in certain markets, like Angie's List is a slam dunk, right? It's just great leads, good return on investment. What's been your experience with Angie's List here in your area?
We did Angie's List a couple different ways. So first, we just had a basic listing on there, and we wanted to make sure that we had a good rating with them. And this last year, we actually did some storefront ads. So we were actually purchasing ads and buying. They have like this great deal of the week promotion that you can purchase. We didn't have great results with that, but what it did do is it got more, they reached out to more of our existing clients because we purchased those storefront ads from them and solicited reviews. So it was able to, we got like 90 some reviews in addition to what we had already had in there just within a couple months span. And the lion's share of those reviews were of course positive. So that got our rating up and our visibility up. So did it generate a lot of service calls? No, but we got more reviews out of just doing that. So, it's sort of a unexpected bonus. But as far as the Angie's List and the Home Advisors, they're still like a work in progress here.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
the other marketing channel that's really important is how you market to your existing customer base. And that was something that would really impress me as I was experiencing the Merdian advantage was, it seems like you've got omnipresence in the market, right? You're really dominant online. You've got the media plays. You've got billboards in the area. And obviously you're doing a good job taking a single-time customer and converting them into a multi-buyer, like you said, owning their home where they know, like, and trust you, and they don't just use you for that first job, but they use you for the next thing that they need. So talk to me about how you market to the existing customer base.
Well, retention's a big thing. If you do it right the first time, and you earn that trust on that first call to that new customer. But don't lose them, because it's much cheaper to keep them than it is to find a new customer. So we have a program where customers their data is extracted from our database monthly, and if they did business with us, then they get on a retention campaign where on a 6 to 8 times a year they get an email update from Merdian, or they get a postcard in the mail from Merdian. And that's managed by another marketing company that we work with here in Michigan. And it's sort of plug and play. I mean, once they came in and said, here's what we can offer, we as a team said, yes, that's something that we want. How much is it per household? It just, we don't ever have to look back. It just happens monthly.
Done for you. No stuffing envelopes.
No, they get tune-up cards, they get thank you letters, they get satisfaction surveys, they get Christmas cards, all that stuff, all those reminders that, Meridian's your company. So,
and this one's tougher to quantify in terms of ROI. Do you have any metrics on how that has helped you grow, or is it more one of those nebulous things where you're like, well, we've grown and that's a big piece of it?
I would say it's more we've grown and that's a big piece of it. To sort of, put a figure on what the ROI is on each of the media outlets that we use is I mean, it'll gouge my eyes out, trying to calculate that. But what it does is it builds a brand. And when you build a brand, a strong brand, it puts so much distance between you and your competitors that there's always going to be enough money to do it again next year.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And really, I think the key takeaway for you guys watching or listening is he doesn't do one marketing channel. It's not just SEO or just pay-per-click or just Angie's List or even just TV. It's really the combination of all of these different things, and they really play on each other. Like the TV ads reinforce your brand, the billboard ads reinforce your brand, which actually improve the click-through rate on your pay-per-click campaigns, which actually improve the stick rate on your SEO organic listings. And so kind of having a full strategy like that touches all of the key elements is one of the reasons they're able to see the momentum that they've had in their company from my vantage point.
Yeah, that's correct.
Awesome. So just kind of boiling this down, which of these marketing efforts tend to drive the most leads for you in terms of net new service calls and revenue generating activities?
Number one is certainly the visibility on the internet. You have to have a strong website nowadays. That's going to drive just about everything in terms of call to action. Like, I need something today. I'm going to look up those guys that I saw. What's that? Oh, that's Merdian. I see the logo. You really can't afford to have a soft tire. So if you've got a strong website, the rest will kind of all fall into play.
Okay, so internet, probably the most new leads. How about highest profitability? Do you have any kind of metric on that?
Highest profitability is probably actually tech-generated leads, which isn't something that we necessarily fix a dollar figure to in terms of cost, but once we get into that home, we build that trust with the customer. That customer then, they'll refer, oh, you need your furnace. We were just here to do your water heater. Boy, if the furnace guy is as nice as this guy and professional and respects my home, that lead right there is low-lying fruit, and the conversion rate is, it's 8 out of 10. You're going to get that job. So.
And so is that literally like one tech flipping the coin over to another tech in a different division, or how does that work for you guys?
Well, in fact, it happened while we were up front at the conference table.
Okay.
So AJ came up to me, and he was on a service call today doing some work, and on his way out, the customer said, hey, we'd like to have a basement bathroom put in. Is that something we can go through you? So he comes in at the end of the day, finds me or one of the other salesmen and gives us that lead. So they're already in our database. We look them up, see if they're a plan holder or not. We can look at the customer history. Was this a first-time call, or have they been a customer for 25 years? Those leads are I don't know what we would do without tech-generated leads.
Right.
And I'm sure some of the audience can agree with me there.
So it's different than a referral. It's your tech planting the seed for some other higher, some other service.
Yeah, and we, as starting as just a plumbing company, back in those days, you didn't have a lead to hand off because you only did one thing. As you diversify and add to your realm of services, all of a sudden that water heater lead becomes a furnace or an AC, or now you're doing a whole house generator for them, or a new kitchen. So as you expand your realm of services, you're really missing the boat if you don't have a lead generation program in-house, and those techs are spiffed for the leads that convert. So there's a little bit of administrative work that goes along with it, but at the end of the day, it really does support a lot of our business.
Yeah, I dare say. And so I would say a lot of our listeners are single trade, right? They're just a plumber, they're just an HVAC company. What would you say to that guy, looking back at yourself all those years ago when you made this transition? What would you say to encourage them or to help guide them in that process of considering adding a second line?
Well, whether you're going to add a second line or not, if you're looking just to grow or add a line extension, you got to ask yourself if you're going to be the tech or if you're going to be the general manager. It's really tough to wear both hats and be successful and grow.
Yep.
You read Michael Gerber's E-Myth. It talks about that. Establish if you're a better business person or if you're a better technician. Then it's all about going out and finding the right people. I mean, when we started our HVAC division, it took us a while to find the right guy. We just onboarded our first electrician. He's a great fit. So building that championship team is not something that happens overnight. And as soon as you get there, someone becomes a free agent, and you got to fill those shoes. So it's a work in progress.
Yeah. And so I think what he said there that was really valuable was, if you plan to just be the tech that knows how to turn the wrench, don't even think about trying to make that transition, because you have to be operating as the owner or general manager that's working to build the team and put the right processes in place, as opposed to, okay, now I'm going to do HVAC too.
Yeah, it's tough to be the GM and the technician to grow and not burn out. So price yourself right to afford a technician so you can manage the business, or to afford a GM so you can still be the technician.
Yeah.
It'll take some time, but you'll get there once you start to see results. So
beautiful. Good stuff. So, obviously you've come a long ways. You've got a tremendously successful organization. Were there any trainings, books, groups that have kind of helped you along the way as you've grown your company?
Yeah, well, I mean, we joined Nexstar in 1996, I think it was, when it was Contractors 2000, based on a recommendation at the time, and that was a lifetime ago. But I think back to those days before people were flat rating, and we were all time and material contractors, and there was nothing wrong with that. But some guys figured out that if you really want to make a living, you're going to have to do some things different, and that's where the C2000 founders got together and started looking at the numbers, and you got to start to fall in love with the numbers, and to really manage and grow a business and have a healthy lifestyle. So that's probably the single most important organization we joined, because it's hard to imagine where we'd be without them. There's other organizations out there like that recommend flat rating and best practices. I mean, there are others out there, but it's hard to imagine how you could run a business without that network, those peers, and the best practices that they preach. So
that's awesome. So Nexstar, a lot of you guys have heard of it. Obviously, it's had a huge impact for you. For those that aren't familiar, can you just kind of explain what Nexstar is and kind of how you plug into it and kind of what you get as a function of being?
Well, it's a best practices organization. It's international, but the bulk of the members are in the continental U.S. We probably take away 25% of the stuff that they offer.
Right.
You know,
this is just a little bit of it. Right.
You're not going to have time to buy into everything that they're recommending or training you on, but if you're tuned in just enough, you can cherry pick where your weaknesses are. You can say, oh, I'm going to listen to that, conference call, or I need some help in marketing. I'm going to call this individual, or there's a peer group over here. I'm going to go see that shop and see. I heard they just launched an electrical division. I'm going to go see what's not working for them, and bring that back to our shop and incorporate it there. So, I mean, if you did nothing else besides network with a group like that, no matter what industry you're in, I mean, the information is endless. So probably the thing that's really changed our business over the last, I mean, we've pretty close to doubled in size in the last 5 years. And the things that have got us there are the right people and our marketing guys taking us from running television commercials to building a brand. When you build a brand, you're the first priority that people are going to call when there's an issue. Just right people in the right seats with the right training. It sounds like a lot, but that's really what it takes. So build that brand.
Awesome. I mean, some fantastic insights. Thank you so much for joining us on today's
Anytime.
podcast. I think a lot of takeaway for our listeners. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to go to plumbingmarketing.net to be alerted as new episodes are posted. And thanks for joining us. Be sure to post your comments. Be sure to like the Facebook page. And we'll catch you on a future episode of the Plumbing and HVAC Marketing Profits Show. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Josh. Thanks.
The Plumbing Marketing Profits Podcast. Interviews with $1 million plus plumbing and HVAC business owners on how they market and grow their companies in today's economy. Hear directly from the most successful leaders in your business and discover what they are doing to keep their phone ringing, trucks running, and businesses booming. With your host, Josh Nelson.